how quickly you go down. We got a couple of gamers coming up next. This is the beautiful thing for me about going to regionals and majors like this is I get to see people who I'm not entirely familiar with, and it's always a pleasure to see. It's always a pleasure to see new faces in the rival scene because like you and I have been here for a long time. You said you've been here for 5 years,
more or less. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here for it's been over 7 at this point, and to still see so many new players on the come up. I'm sure a lot of people ready for Rivals 2, getting into it for the upcoming sequel. It's always great.
Oh yeah, for sure. Looks like we're having perhaps some controller issues.
Yeah.
Rivals infamously a bit fickle when it comes to controllers. It'll work eventually.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. So Rivals supports, keyboard, Xbox, PlayStation, GameCube, Steam
Switch
controller, like whatever you want to throw at it. And so, it's a 7-8-year-old game. Sometimes there's issues getting all of those controllers to work on the same setup at the same time. But eventually, we get it to work. Oh, this is 3XD. Okay. I wonder if that's Doots then.
I think that's Doots.
Yeah, okay.
Doots is a player from Champaign, Illinois, who has been absolutely popping off this past year. So had a phenomenal showing at One Day War, which is I think their first actual tournament.
Yeah.
Looking to make more waves here.
Yeah, okay. Now I'm familiar. Got to put the faces to the tags.
3XD on the Zetter, Doots on the Orcane. Zetter, familiar to those who may have seen Plat Fighters other than Rivals of Aether.
Yeah, I mean, he's PM Wolf.
Yeah.
He is literally just PM Wolf. He was the first character added to this game, and the creator was a PM player, Brawl player. He liked Wolf, and so you see a lot of similarities. But with that said, he still has his own unique mechanic of setting people on fire and that empowering his strong attacks.
Almost nothing is scarier in this game than being lit on fire.
Yeah, being lit on fire, up strong, on deck. I mean, get a couple more hits and Orcane's at kill percent.
Yeah, Doots had to specifically air dodge up there just to avoid getting up smashed. If that happens, it is a checkmate.
Yeah, and you see, once you get the knockdown as well, you have to be so scared. Like, once Zetter has you knocked down and you're on fire, you fear for your life. So a bit of a rollout there. And you see 3XD is actually waiting a little bit, trying to bait out, panic roll, panic carry, some kind of option that they can punish. But no luck. Dude's able to sneak in that back air and close out the first stock.
Parry and vulnerability gave them enough time to roar out the back air. Seeing some careful neutral here. Orcane has a lot of safe moves that makes it hard to sort of approach him. And a very slippery playstyle, using the forward air reverse hitbox to get back, but gets caught in the crab move, the down smash.
It's ever present. It's ever present. You always got to be aware of it because it covers so much. It covers tech in place, and it can often catch you as you're rolling as well. So it's just if you land next to Zetter, down strong's probably coming out.
Oh yeah.
Bit of patience here. Just a few percent separate the two. Doots finds a bit of an opening, but doesn't commit too hard to it.
Doots is really.
Ooh.
Of course, Orcane has a teleport. So when you go out like that and you commit to chasing Orcane off stage, you have to either hope it immediately kills or you have to be prepared for the on-stage gambits.
Yeah. Like you see that puddle that Orcane puts down. That's just an option that Orcane can teleport to if they so choose. But that's something you can bait out as well. Like you mentioned, get Orcane off stage and say, oh, I'm going to hit you. Psych, go back on stage. And because there's a lot of lag to that teleport, you're able to punish it if they do it in an unsafe position.
You see 3XD throwing out, you see Doots throwing out a lot of back airs because at this point, getting hit by even one could just mean death for 3XD. So Doots can play defensively and use that, whereas 3XD has to focus a lot harder on getting in. But an offstage scenario and not being able to edge guard as cleanly means that Doots is offstage and dead. 1 to 2 stocks, I believe, and 1 to 1 stock.
Yeah, all evened up here. And what we've seen is that Doots is able to get a lot off of like random stray hits. You know, those hitboxes are doing work. But in terms of overall control of the game, 3XD has felt a lot more stable, a lot more just firm. And so yeah, you see that down tilt coming in there. Doots able to get a decent amount off of it. But overall, it's felt like 3XD is just more in control.
Yep, that time 3XD was close enough that they could punish the puddle, the teleport.
It's going to be close. It's going to be so close, almost dead even. Now, Zetterburn is able to get earlier KOs, and if that Shine Up Strong connected, that would have been the first game, but Doots has another shot at life. Parry for either of them will do it. Really good drift to stay alive at the very, very end.
There's no puddle off stage.
Yeah, no
puddle.
puddle.
To go for the puddle butt recovery. That one can be very stressful, but if you don't have a puddle, it's often one of your better bets.
Ooh, forward strong, not gonna be enough. Now 3XD off
Chomp.
stage, you gotta rinse and repeat here. This is your moment, dudes. Don't let this slip.
Gets rinsed.
Down, strong covers all the way up there. Yeah, if you do a strong attack over that puddle, those strongs go far.
It grows.
They get big.
And Orcane also goes far.
Yeah,
for
true.
what it's worth.
True. Orcane, slippery character, water creature, has very low friction on the ground, so they're able to slide really far.
You see Doots doing some fun tech here. Some nair bounces, some bubble butts as they call it. That reverse aerial rush, forward air, backwards momentum. Ooh, 3XD
More Shovel
bringing out a
Knight.
counter pick. A swapperoonie.
I do know Orcanes hate this matchup. Orcanes absolutely despise this matchup. It's just like, again, because Shovel's really good at holding space and Orcane just like to press buttons, you can't really do that if a Shovel is like back airing in place or down airing in place. If you're just trying to mash on them, Shovel has a lot of disjoint that'll contest that.
Right, especially the back air. So you'll see 3XD approaching from reverse so much already even, just to sort of use that to beat out Doots' option.
It's also that like when Orcane is off stage against Shovel, like because Shovel kind of throws out hitboxes as he's recovering, you don't really have a good opportunity to actually get that teleport out because you're constantly being threatened by just getting smacked in the face.
Right, and oftentimes if the Shovel Knight's committing to like a dare chain or a fair chain, you just don't have time to actually do it all the way. You will get counter hit.
I love the patience there from 3XD, but you know, you saw as soon
Heller Dagger, fair.
As soon as they get impatient with that approaching back air, that's when Doots finds the opening. So that's the one thing I'm looking out for is like, that bear is so good, but you can't run up with it.
Gear is an interesting choice. Talk to 3 different Shovel Knight mains, and I think they'll all 3 have different opinions on the items you pick up, especially the neutral special. Without any sort of upgrades, it just collects money that's sort of in a radius around Shovel Knight. But you can replace it with either the gear, the Ghost Clubs, which we saw in the previous set, or a Horde, which is a big hitbox. Gear has the advantage of being a slow approaching projectile that you can follow behind.
Yeah.
And in this case, it helps deal with sort of Doots sitting back and throwing puddles like this.
Yeah, it's also really good if like someone's jumping a lot, that gear just gets in their way.
It
The thing to note though is because
covering outside.
Because 3XD got an item first, you know, that gem pull, like you mentioned, that's off the table. So if 3XD wants to get more armor, you gotta manually run up to all of those gems. That's why you usually see Shovel Knights go for the armor first. But, you know, in this case, they want the gear.
Yeah.
They want that safety hitbox. And you see, you know, even though 3XD got hit there because the gear was already out, it was able to cover him as he was landing.
Strong. Catches in the bear. Doots is in a tough spot. Gets counter hit out of the tech roll.
There's that spike coming out, but no follow-up.
Doots went the direction of the stage and was able to avoid a rough offstage.
Yeah. Also, we do see some of like the downside of gear is if you just throw it out from across the stage, that's a free parry. And in this game, parries reflect the projectile. You see right there, the gear hit Shovel Knight because Orcane was able to get the parry off. So you got to be careful. You can't just throw gear out willy-nilly. Otherwise, suddenly, your projectile is your opponent's.
And there's momentum mail. Shovel Knight now has greatly reduced ground friction. to the point where his dash attack carries him extremely far. Farther than his default wave dash, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Once you see that dark armor come out, it both, decreases the friction, also shovels a little bit heavier now. So some of these strong attacks from Orcane, you're going to need a bit more percent before you actually close out the stock. And when you're on a last stock situation like this, that's going to make a big difference.
You see there, I'm pretty sure 3XD was trying to bait the parry for gear and caught Doots anticipating the gear instead. So there's sort of a rock, paper, scissors with that, a game of chicken, a gear chicken.
All right, Doots, you are down, but you're not out. You still got a game to work with, and you can still make this comeback happen. You just got to be patient. You can't run into those gears, because 3XD is pretty telegraphed in how they're playing neutral at this point. Throw out gear, go behind it.
Tries to get the sweet spot on the up special. If on the startup of the move, there's sort of a small circle at the very tip of the anchor that will sweet spot and kill really early. And one of the sort of common B&B combos for Shovel Knight is to carry people off stage with fair and then up special when they don't expect it.
That roll from Doots was so important. Staying alive here. Potential 2-0. You win this game. The set's over. You don't got to worry about a game 3. And the forward tilt into up B conversion. Closing it out 2-0. What a solid finish there from Doots.
The awareness of knowing where your puddle is and knowing how to get the opponent there.
Yeah.
That takes skill. That takes attention. More attention than I would have at that point.
Yeah, these two not these two characters, but Zetterburn and Orcane are the two oldest characters in the game, and going all the way back to when the game first dropped, forward tilt up B is like the classic. That is what people first started innovating, and so that's like the fundamentals of the character, but to be able to do that in a high pressure situation, last stock, last hit, beautiful. Fantastic job there, and 2-0 for Doots.
2-0 for Doots.
And now, we have to say, don't go anywhere. We still have a lot more rivals coming up your way. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around and you'll see some more fantastic rivals.